Ready. Hey guys, we're live around the EcomiVerse episode 37. We got Dr. Stuff and Patient Hodler in the house. Woo!
Let's go.
Now, off stream, we were just talking about Omi, and we were just saying the things that we think might need to happen for Omi to go sort of parabolic. And I have an echo. A second. Oh, there we go. Okay. So patient Hodler, do you want to say what you said will help you turn from not bullish to bullish for Omi?
Yeah, so it's not about what will help, it's about what helped me, or at least what I expected. So I said just 1 minute ago offline, but I can repeat it online. And I said it almost every day on my crypto morning stream, on my crypto morning coffee as well, that the moment they start delivering on fundamentals, then I will turn my bullish switch on again. And yeah, they did it. The technicals helped also with that. And I think it's very straightforward, transparent, and there's reason to be bullish. And we will see. Obviously, if they take now 4 years to deliver the next milestone, then bearish switch is coming back. Yes, that's obvious. But is this likely? No, not really. So we stay bullish. But our bias is bullish.
Awesome. Dr. Stuff, do you have any rebuttal for that?
Well, I'm just giving him a hard time because obviously 4 years, that's not going to happen. We're starting to see things in a 2 week cadence, right? Whether it's just updates to the app or announcements that VeVe is making, and here's my thing, and this is I'm going to look, man. If I could find someone who would be epic enough to go through all these different clips of not only around the EcomiVerse, but when I was on Crypto Rain's channel too, and just like me just talking about the fundamentals of VeVe and like you can get this technical analysis right where you can track tokens and traders do that. But I've definitely learned from Crypto Rain that number one, I can't handle that. That's just not my mentality to watch the charts every day. I just become a nervous wreck, right? So it's where you do the fundamental analysis and understanding what this project is doing and digging in and trying to understand the information that most people aren't willing to take the time to spend to understand this project, right? And that's what I've done with VeVe and some other projects as well. But like in March, when all people were freaking out about VeVe, like morale was at an all-time low, right? And I did say, I said, look, if VeVe doesn't turn things around, then I am a little bit nervous if we don't start seeing some improvements, right? Because Mitch had come on in December, and Mitch was like, "Hey, we got the EcomiVerse coming, or the VeVeVerse coming at the beginning of the year, right?" And then that did not happen, and and I was like, "Look, we got to give him some time." But like when I met Dan and David, right, as I've been reading, like looking at the tokenomics, looking at the IP they have, the team members that they have, and what they started to build, that's when I was like, guys, I am loading up on Omi and VeVe collectibles right now. Like I'm kind of putting a hold on a lot of other investments and focusing on VeVe and Omi because of what I'm seeing here that they are building. And this is when everyone was fighting. And I made this tweet, and it's got, I don't know, it's got like, I don't know, 15,000 views or something like that on it. But
Nice.
it's this meme, right? And it's like basically the entire world that I labeled Omi and VeVe futters, right? And then there's me, and I'm like, yes, you're all wrong. Because everyone was just fighting on VeVe, and I was like, you don't see it. And I don't care what you guys are all saying, you're wrong. You're just dead wrong. And you're wrong because you're just following the narrative and you're copycatting other people instead of doing your homework and studying this stuff. And as I'm seeing that they are building out each 2 weeks that they started that cadence, and like the IP that they were releasing, that Marvel wasn't walking away from them. In fact, during that time, they made an announcement that Marvel had signed like an 8-year contract with them. And I'm like, these are massive businesses that like understand behind the scenes what's going on, and they are doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on VeVe. Of course, I'm going to be doubling, tripling, quadrupling down too. So, anyways, I'm extremely bullish on this, and we were just kind of talking before we went live about some of the catalysts that we have yet to see. But most of you guys, I got in at the tail end of the last crypto bull run, And even then, with some tokens that had already gone up, like I made like 40x on a couple of my tokens, 40x, right?
Ooh.
And I'm coming from the stock world where if I get 12% a year, I'm doing pretty good, And then I'm like, 40x on my money? That is insane, right? And that's at the tail end of the crypto run, because there are tokens that did 1000x.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
1000x. Okay, now not a lot of them did that, but that's the kind of crazy money that starts just going everywhere. And here's what I was kind of talking about, right? You've got the Bitcoin ETF. Once that gets approved, that is going to throw a ton of money into crypto, a ton of money into crypto. And then you're going to combine that with the narrative of a Bitcoin halving, right? That's supposed to happen in around April. And I think that's when Wall Street, they're going to start talking to all of their guys, and they're going to be saying, hey, we need to be putting money into Bitcoin. There's going to be this huge Bitcoin narrative, and so much money is going to flow into Bitcoin. And then, like we've seen in the past, and obviously this is an assumption, right? But like the money flows from Bitcoin into altcoins. And it's typically those low cap altcoins that can just do crazy numbers, which OMI is still definitely a low cap altcoin. So I've been talking a lot. I'm just hyped right now, guys. I just got back from camping.
I love it.
And I was away from electronics, and now I'm back, and I'm just like, I'm so excited to be with the VeVe fam and chatting about this. So I'm pumped.
Awesome. I'm really excited for today as well. I love the show. I love looking forward to it. And yeah, I can totally see all these catalysts coming, and it's not going to take a lot for OMI to move. And we already saw like some small moves with the OMI staking, and that's the very, very first iteration. Obviously, you guys can see there's a retracement at the moment, and we sort of hovering around that 0.001 mark, pretty hard, like pretty much. And I'm looking forward to breaking back to 0.002. I think it'll happen with the bronze tickets. And I don't know if you guys have been in the Ecomi Telegram group, but Reese is talking quite a bit in there. And he said, the OMI circles are dead, so don't worry about them. They're gone. They're abolished, and don't worry about them. And he said, they're working on bronze tickets. And once bronze tickets are live, he'll tell us what they're working on next after that for OMI. He also mentioned OMI to NFT, that you'll be able to, buy collectibles with OMI to NFT and NFT to OMI. And he said that it'll all be layer 2 OMI. So it's all just the same OMI that's in the app. And we also know that they've mentioned they're working on buying OMI inside the web app. So that's going to be another game changer. And I think that'll make things so much easier, because everyone who has transitioned OMI from layer 1 to layer 2 realizes how annoying that process is. It's not that difficult, but it's just that extra step that the average person maybe doesn't want to go through. And I know a lot of people that would rather just go in the web app and attach their credit card and load up, a couple $1,000s of OMI. And that's going to be awesome. And I don't know if they're going to use MoonPay or something like that. Patient Hollow, what do you think about that?
Yeah, so actually I was just thinking about if you could buy OMI in the app, and you have different payment providers and different fees. I would actually calculate if it's worth more buying it directly in the app against buying it on an exchange and bridge it. Maybe it's cheaper to buy it directly in the app. I don't know if it's OMI that I want to keep in the app, so I have to count these fees against double fee of bridging, right? And then for some people it might be even worth buying it in the app if you want to keep it long term anyways to generate MCPs. So yeah, so that is one thought. The other one is as completely going ballistic if all of that happens, what you just said, because I mean, we know that the equivalent of, I think, what is it, a gem or so, $1 to the current OMI price is going to be burned per ticket if that was at this price point. So microtransactions, I think we discussed this once before. I'm not quite sure if it was here on around the EcomiVerse, but it's just craziest concept that you can have is microtransactions that burn from OMI, because they're so easy to spend money on. It's way easier than if a ticket was $1,000. Almost no one would use this mechanic, right? But if it's 30,000 people using a $1 mechanic, is better than a couple of people using a $100 or $1,000 mechanic. Is people will spend thousands of dollars on something that seems only pocket change. So I think they are on the right track regarding this. And yes, looking forward to seeing that.
Awesome. I know you just said 30,000 users, and that's something that we should talk a little bit about. Is the latest stats are in, and active users on VeVe is just over 27,000. Now, this is in the bear market. This is where other projects are shutting down. I know so many projects that have been shutting down now, NFT projects. My cousin is sort of lost. I think he's lost a lot of money. He was in one of those Solana NFT projects. I think it was called Age of Sam, and he was really excited about that one. He put a lot of money in there. I think pretty much all of his net worth, and I think he said it's dumping.
That's hard.
And I told him about VeVe. I told him about Omi. I know he bought some Omi. Obviously, Omi didn't perform well from when he bought it to now. It's probably quite far down, but that's why I put my money in VeVe and Omi, because even if it goes down, I know it's got life ahead of it. It's going to come back. And 27,000 users is amazing in the bear. Imagine what that's going to be in the bull market without even that much extra, we don't need too many actual catalysts for it. Just being in the bull market alone, I think we're going to at least double or triple the users, at least. And, all these people that are seeing these other NFT projects fail are going to see VeVe and see how they survived and actually got stronger and actually still sell out drops all the time. Like Lion King sold out instantly, right? And we're still selling out drops on every month or two. A lot of the comics and stuff sell out. A lot of there's just, and we don't need to sell out. We don't need to actually sell every drop. Most stores, when they get a product line in, they don't just sell out all their stock. Okay, most stores, that almost never happens. If they do that consistently, it's not that great. I used to sell a lot of different products on Amazon, and I actually had cables that would sell so quickly that they instantly sold out in a couple of days. And then it took me 2 or 3 more weeks to get more stock in. So I wasted all that time where I couldn't sell anything. And, it's much better if you get smoother sales. And VeVe has smooth sales. And I think we've talked about this. Omi VeVe probably deserves to be a top 20 token, because if you can find me any other project that's not a layer one crypto, any other project that's doing more than $1 million sales every month, please tell me. I don't think there's even any that are doing more than a couple $1 million in like profit a year for crypto projects. It's very rare. So the future's going to be pretty gold. I'm very excited about it.
I don't know if you can count it just based on sales, because, for example, Polygon, if I recall it right, is a layer 2 solution, and it's still a massive ecosystem. So it's not only based on direct sales, but also on activity on even layer 2s. But certainly Polygon is an exception, and most of the ecosystems that do well are layer 1s. So yeah, I'm completely with you on the fundamentals there. For
that might be one of the only ones, though, right? Like, how many others are like that are making money, cash flow positive? And we've seen so many NFT projects fail, and the price of all those NFTs going down. Yet a lot of them pumped up like crazy. Like, the rocks, people were paying $1 million for NFT rock.
Ether rock, $200,000, I think, for Ether rock.
Oh, it's so sad. It's so sad. Imagine if they went to VeVe. Yeah, was it Dr. Stuff?
SoCal Omi Homie was saying Star Atlas and Illuvium both rival VeVe. I mean, Star Atlas, something happened with Star Atlas recently. I can't remember if it was a hack, something, but it was not good. Let's see.
Yeah, and Illuvium, I don't know. The
mechanic. I don't think either of those rival VeVe in actual profit, though, guys. Just keep that in mind.
They definitely have like a strong user base. And Illuvium, look, Illuvium's different because it's a game, right? Yeah. So there are NFTs in there, and it is a game, and that's great. Like, we want more and more. I don't know, like competition. Like we need competition, guys. Like we do. As much as everyone's like, "Oh, VeVe number one," like VeVe would be number one if there's no one else, and that's not good. Because like we've seen when McFarlane Toys came in and they're like, "Hey, we have interoperability." Then I was like, I'm tweeting out to VeVe and I'm being like, "Hey, VeVe, when interoperability, right? Like it's gonna force or push certain narratives and cause VeVe to react to things that maybe they're like, oh, we can put that on the back burner." But when competition comes out and starts showing these things, like even with Cryptoids, I love the animations that they have. Why don't we have animations? Like when you're opening stuff, like that is such a part of the experience that would make it so much more fun. Don't get me wrong. I love the green truck. We should have a green truck NFT. They should do a green truck NFT drop. I would totally get one because that's nostalgic for me, right? But at the same time, like they should be developing for Marvel for different things like animations for these drops. Also, like the ability to like not open it, right? So then it's like, oh, I get this, and I don't want to. I just want to leave it unboxed. Like those things are awesome, and hopefully we see that, right? Also, you have Pudgy Penguins now that have Fidgetals, where you can literally buy a physical toy, and then in there is like an NFT that's connected to that. And I don't know if it's through not Bluetooth, but whatever that technology, blue chip technology, where basically you're going to be able to read that and obtain your NFT that way, right? So as the technology continues to advance and quote unquote competitors or other platforms in this space improve their technology or release something new, it makes VeVe pivot. And I constantly want VeVe to be on their tiptoes, right, and not get too comfortable with things being in first place. So we definitely need that, but. I'm excited for what they're doing. And like you said, Jordan, they're still selling out a lot of their drops, not all of them, but I can agree that they probably should be higher up in the market cap. And the thing is, they just have so many tokens, and that is a mind thing. That is a psychological barrier for a lot of people when it's like, there's just so many tokens. But that's where the burn mechanism comes in and can really magnify a narrative. So
yeah, 100%. To what you said as well, David, you was on Randy's channel. You guys probably know this crazy was it like 24-hour stream or whatever he did.
Yeah.
And David Yu was on there, and David Yu actually said he wants competition. He wants there to be other players in the space, and he said he doesn't even view them as competition. He views them as like helping bring more, mass audience to the technology front, and so it's definitely not a competition thing. And it's great that Star Atlas and Illuvium have some, good communities. But yeah, that'd be great if there's other players like VeVe. But again, so we're talking about a handful. There's a handful. Maybe those guys. I mean, I think Illuvium is a top 20, right? That's that cryptocurrency. Illuvium, I think is. It
no,
was
it's not
anyway.
top 20.
It was at
I
some
think
point.
it's so. I think the what we are seeing right now is showing the health of the entire market of this, or let's say of this niche in the NFT market, because we will see that the NFT market is way broader than just collectibles and 3D figures and animated stuff. I mean, we see some projects that are really doing big breakthroughs in the NFT ticketing services, and it's completely different. VeVe has never had the approach that they need to be the big leader in the NFT ticketing for NFL and soccer games in Europe or so. Or maybe there is a Chili's, Socios.com application, or some other projects that are going to lead the charge in this direction. But in the collectible sphere, we can see now how the shape of the market is currently, what the health of the market is. There are some projects that are doing fine, and that's good to see. I think because if we were seeing Cryptoids die, maybe also on the side Illuvium and all the games die, and there's only VeVe, then you would worry that the last man standing will eventually die as well. But if you see other projects coming up and pose competition, or be something like a market companion where you just scratch each other sometimes but not really fight, that is something good. So that's why David Yu hopes it, I think. And it's not only improving on competition, it's just like broadening the market by force, by in the periphery always growing new solutions so that the market gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So I think that's what we need, and I think this will only happen when the momentum comes back in the bull run.
I was just looking at Illuvium, and the market cap's actually less than Omi now. It's 145
Mhm.
million.
Yeah,
So
but if you see is it's a coin that is tied to one specific game, right?
yeah, it was, but it hit what, multi-billion. I think it hit three,
Yeah.
4, 5 billion or something during the bull run. So it's just retraced real hard, like really, or dumped even really. But I know they were doing that staking where you could stake Illuvium, and then you could get more Illuvium from staking it. So that's something that Ecomi have always been very careful about. They don't want to stake Omi to get Omi, because that becomes a security risk, right? So
Hmm.
um, it's pretty interesting though to see, how many billion market cap some of these cryptocurrencies can go to, and then they can roll all the way down in the bear market from,
Yeah.
I think it's 6 or 7 billion. I think it hit at peak. Now it's 125 or 135 million. Yeah, we got some more comments here. VeVe won't die. It's like Tesla. The other companies decide to partner with Tesla. Oh man, I've been doing a bit of Tesla research lately, and Tesla is just absolutely destroying everybody by like light years.
Yeah.
I know we're switching subject a little here, but have you guys seen the latest full self driving beta?
I have
I
not.
think it's
Nope.
12. It's nothing but nets, is what Elon Musk said. That means it's all just neural nets. They basically just feed data in, and then they let the car drive, and they don't teach it any. There's like no human interaction or codes or like rules or anything. And they did a 45-minute drive, and they only needed one single intervention in a 45-minute drive.
But I,
And
but I think the sorry, go
no,
on.
that but it's just new. No one's ever done that before, right?
Yeah.
No one's ever done that before, and they just refreshed the Model 3, and they added rear display for kids and everything, and they did all these other awesome tweaks, and they made it more aerodynamic, and they made the range longer, and they didn't even increase the price, exact same price. No one can even get close to matching Tesla. It's just
Yeah.
nuts.
And that's what I wanted to add. Just is what Omar said here is actually a very good. At first, I thought that's not a good comparison, but actually it is. So if you take Tesla with functionalities like this, or autonomous driving, or whatever in the car manufacturing space, let's say the other car manufacturers are also building stuff like that, right? Does that mean that Tesla dies? Because the other car manufacturers and all the car manufacturers in Germany, when they saw how Tesla was performing, they were building out electric cars, right? So Volkswagen did it, BMW does it, Porsche has an E model or has several E models, Mercedes has. So there are 5 manufacturers, Audi, 5 in Germany, and then several around the world. They're all doing it. The market is big enough for them. Tesla is still leading the charge in that specific segment, price segment, right? And then there is cars for people that cannot afford a Tesla but still want to drive E or hybrid or I don't know what. And apparently, there is enough space for 20 car manufacturers around the world that are all seemingly dominating the market. And no one is saying, oh, but this Tesla will die now because the other 20 are here, right? So it's just,
Great point.
in fact, Tesla has pushed the door open to a new market, and now everyone is sailing into that blue ocean
I
and grabbing as much share as they can, right? So yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it's almost like they're actually trying to catch up, and everyone said when the big car manufacturers get into the space, and Tesla's gonna die. There's all these Tesla killers, and if you
Yeah.
look at VW, for instance, they've gone really hard on electric. The VW group, they've done the ID4 and a bunch of other cars, and they really really tried. But if you look quarter over quarter now, you can see that every single quarter, Tesla's still gapping them. This is
Hmm.
one of the biggest manufacturers in the world, can't even get close to catching Tesla. So, I do see the comparisons, and I think VV is a good example because, VV's had the first movers advantage. They're sort of pioneers in this space, right? That David, you and Dan Crothers were talking about NFTs before NFTs were NFTs, basically, right? Or,
Yeah.
digital collectibles now. We'll call them digital collectibles so we don't get in trouble. But it's like yeah, it's great. I mean, Randy has always also talked about Tesla and given comparisons with VeVe and Ecomi, and I definitely see it as, they're all basically technology startups, and when you've got the right people in the right place, and I feel like VeVe have pivoted and got better people in the right place now, like Mitch, and they've got their own blockchain team, Ecomi blockchain team. Yes, we all would have loved if they got that 2 years ago, and why didn't they? We don't know, but they've got it now, and I like to live in the present, and I like to see from the present to the future what's going to happen, and not worry too much about the past, because we don't have time machines, we can't go back and do anything. So it's going to be a really, really exciting future, and I look forward to it. We've got some comments here. Trying to say car manufacturers compete with Elon, who makes space. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Elon Musk is pretty much a rocket scientist, and other car manufacturers are trying. The thing about Elon Musk and the way he runs his companies is he doesn't like them moving slowly. He doesn't like all the red tape and everything to go through layers and layers and layers. He wants an idea that's good to be implemented straight away, to be efficient and save literally like months of time that other car manufacturers aren't doing, because they're stuck in the old systems where this has to be approved and that has to be approved by this person, then that person has to get approved, has to go up a big chain, and by the time it finishes being approved, Tesla's now 10 steps ahead, right? That's why they're gapping everyone. It's crazy.
So I'm gonna that is a great segue, Jordan, into like comparing Elon and David Yu, right? And why we're doing this, right? Because I mean, here Sowulo is dude. I still need to figure out how to pronounce his name. So, anyways, but so David Yu is a collector. He's been a collector his entire life, right? This guy understands collecting to the nth degree, better than most people in the entire world, right? And so you get all of these NFT projects. If we look at kind of like the history of NFTs, right, more that kind of same came from. I can't remember the very first NFT. It's pretty cool if you Google like the very first NFT, like it moves and stuff. It's pretty awesome. Then there was Ether Rocks and there were CryptoPunks, right? And then Bored Apes is kind of what really started to take things, take the world by storm, right? And then after Bored Ape Yacht Club, and part of it was just like the innovations that Bored Ape Yacht Club did. It was this counterculture group, right, of people that were kind of fighting against like all the rich people, but then they became the rich people in the NFT space. It was crazy, right? And all this hype, and then they were airdropping things, right? If you held this, then you got something like that. That was new. They had that the sewer game, like all these weird, different things, unique things that they've done, right? And they're trying to create their own IP. Yet David Yu is like, I'm going to gather all of as much of the IP around the world that has existed for 100 years or more, and put that all in one marketplace, right, for people to buy and sell, and hopefully trade again at some point. That would be great. But regardless, like he understands that. So I mean, I've kind of had this back and forth with SoCal Omi Homie a little bit, and I get it, right? Certain platforms like McFarlane Toys, they have interoperability. A lot of people want interoperability, and I understand why, but here's the deal: most people don't. And I know that that's not like something I like to hear, because I want interoperability, but the masses, they don't. They don't want to have to deal with crypto. They don't want to have to deal with a 12-word seed phrase, a 16-word seed phrase, and bridging like Omi from layer 1 to layer 2. Like they don't. They want to be able to see, like, here's my credit card, take my money, and I just want to open my app and it just to be there. I don't want to send it. And like, oh, if VeVe dies, that sucks. Like that's how most people think. Like that's really how most people think, right? And if we truly want the masses, like that's where it's going to go. Now, I do think that there's going to be some regulations that come into play that VeVe has to be careful with about being a custodian, right? Where if VeVe is holding our assets, do they need to then apply to be a custodian and all that? Do they want that headache? Whereas if they allow us that interoperability, then they're no longer a custodian. We are choosing to send it to a wallet in our app, right? So that's something different there. But where I'm going with this, VeVe and Elon and David Yu is David Yu is 10 steps ahead. And we're seeing that, right? Everyone was like, Recur's the VeVe killer, and like, I don't know if you guys saw some of the advertisements, but it was like rug rats, not rug pulls, right?
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh man, that just
Like a
like,
suicide bomber.
Did not
Yeah.
age well.
yeah, like, and that's my thing is they don't get it, right? They go in there and like, we're just gonna throw a ton of money, we're gonna buy all of this like Nickelodeon IP, we're gonna do all these things, we got all the money in the world, right? And then it falls flat on its face because they don't understand the collector. And that's where David Yu is understanding the collector, and he's getting things. It's crazy, guys. I keep telling myself, only buy FA, only buy FA. And then a new drop comes, and I'm like, that looks really cool. I think I'm going to get it. Instead of going back and buying that FA, they're doing such a good job of marketing and hitting things, and they'll continue to do that. And so David Yu truly is 10 steps ahead of the market in some ways. Now, other platforms are going to have little things that they're going to target to compare themselves to VeVe, right? They're saying, look, we have interoperability and VeVe doesn't. We have animation on our box openings and VeVe doesn't. Like whatever it is, it's something that VeVe doesn't have. But like VeVe already has all of these other things that they know that they can't focus on. They've got to try to make themselves stand out just to target the VeVe community, which VeVe already has, right? So David Yu truly is 10 steps ahead. And even though we don't have interoperability yet, I believe it's coming. I truly believe it's coming. And so for me, if that's why prices are down, now for me, this is what I'm doing with my money, right? The OMI token and the VeVe collectibles, I'm buying because once they're interoperable, which I believe they are, that will happen, then the price goes up. And so like I'm trying to buy it now before that happens. Now it might not happen, and that's the risk. That's always the risk, right? But that's where I'm talking about fundamental analysis, doing the research, understanding the regulations and what's coming down the line, saying it's more than likely that VeVe is going to be forced to make their stuff interoperable. And so I want to buy it before that happens, because once that happens, these FAs become more highly desirable to the wider crypto market.
Yeah. The funny thing, so I think what is really funny over 1 year already is that two terms are mixed into one, right? Self-custody and interoperability. Because some people were asking for self-custody so that they just could put their tokens on NFT tokens on a ledger or whatever and just keep it for themselves offline, whatever, cold. And the other ones were asking for interoperability to the IMX marketplaces to increase the liquidity that concentrates on those collectibles, because they felt that it would get more visibility if it would be transferable to an OpenSea. That had nothing to do with self-custody. It's more like they wanted to achieve a high price right now instead of waiting for liquidity pushing back into the VeVe app. So I think these two it's worth to keep them separated, although I know that people just use one word for both of them. But overall, I think the reaction of the competitors, that's the second thing I just wanted to add, is although it seems malicious, or I don't know how you would call it, always targeting that little weak spot on VeVe. If you think about this blue ocean that I just mentioned, and you have one mega whale already lying in the water and there's not enough space for the other ones, they will naturally focus on that little square meter that is still left over and try to open up there. And I think that's just a survival reaction of the other projects like Cryptoids and Recur at the time, to try to get whatever's left over of the market at the moment. But yeah.
We've got a lot of comments here. We've got SoCal seems to be talking about SA and ILV again.
Yeah, Star Atlas and Illuvium. And I think he's just trying to compare like
yeah,
they
probably are ahead in a lot of ways technically, but they don't have big
started. Star Atlas started a long time ago, to be fair, and Illuvium he raised so much money from their IPO, right, or ICO, or however you want to call it. So much money that VeVe didn't, right? VeVe raised money, but nothing like that. So they were able to hire devs. I'm not here to downplay any other project. Like I try to diversify. I think Star Atlas really could be awesome, right? And if you like space games and things, Star Atlas is phenomenal. And Illuvium looks like a lot of fun to play. I know Crypto Rain has been playing that. I've got Illuvium Land, right?
I've got Land as well. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think that I think that the magnitude of multiples that VeVe can do compared to Star Atlas or Illuvium. Now, Illuvium could catch the game trend and do phenomenal too, right? So, but for me, like again, I just look at all of that IP tied together, and there's going to be so many eyes on VeVe because it can capture so many different markets. So that's my thought.
Absolutely.
And I like the comparables. I like that. I did
So a
not know
quick
they
comment.
started at the same time.
So Omar here says Reese confirmed that VeVe will make it easy for people to buy Omi on the web app and use it. He's mentioned Telegram today, and he's mentioned it on Twitter as well. Sorry, X. He's mentioned on X today as well. Oh, not today.
I still can't get rid of the Twitter word. Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? My son's like, "What the heck is that on your phone? What's this big X?" I'm like, "It was Twitter."
Yeah.
Hard to wrap around.
I think with regards to the VeVe collectibles, many people, also because you said before, not every drop has to sell out and the edition sizes are fine. They're burning them at some point. Many people, I think, forgot how hard it was to get a drop with 50,000 or 60,000 editions like Black Panther at the time. You can still argue, okay, a lot of bot wallets, no bot protection, yada yada. Maybe that is all true. But if you see the 27,000 active users right now, and you just give it a rough 10x, you have a lot of users there where a 30,000 edition drop in a bull run will easily sell out. And I think the natural movement to, if you think about this and you try to remember that feeling from 2 years ago, is what Bezosman does at the moment. he's just wiping the floor, and in anticipation of that move coming back. And no matter who he is, how the financials are looking, he's definitely enough spare money to buy not only cheap comics, but also secret rare collectibles, comics, sets, and so on, because it's now has become a routine on my morning stream to look at Bezosman's purchases just to see what this guy is doing. So it's like there's literally 2 to 3 minutes of scrolling through his immuta scan data, and you really see. So if you would just neutral look at what he's buying, you would with 90% certainty say he's trying to open a store, because he's just buying everything that, like, Nova comic, I don't know, stuff that isn't worth much, but probably the comic sits at the time at below 2 gems. And if you then think about what's more likely to 10x or 20x, 150 gem comic go to 15 gems, or 2,000 gem collectibles going to 20,000 to make a 10x. And from that perspective, I think some whales are behaving in that manner right now to get themselves into position to sell massive amounts of comics at 15 gems back into the market.
Yeah, so how many of those guys do you think we need to make the market pump? We probably need like 3, 4, right? Of that sort of whale size. We don't need a heap of them.
Probably. I mean, we also don't know in which gear Bezosman is operating right now. If he thinks that this is just slow accumulation, we don't know, because we see that also. We saw that in Ecomi as well, that whales tried to trap the price between 2 levels for an extensive amount of time and just traded between that. And when that doesn't work anymore, they just pump $600,000 in and the price breaks out. What if Bezosman is just in the first of 6 gears or something like that? So he's just, because these guys, if he, just assuming, I'm not saying that it has to be, but just assuming he's of a bigger size, or he's something like a company, or it's not it's a company or a group or a VC or I don't know what. Let's say then they have the power to make the market turn around when they want to. They can just go into certain collectibles and just buy everything up to a 10x price and then just list under that. Or there's so many ways. I mean, there are literally comics and also collectibles where someone with $500 can basically pump the price a couple of X. So yeah, you can just really make that game go into a comic where there's an ultra rare with only 9 editions listed, and calculate how much money do you need until there's only one left over that costs, I don't know, 20,000 or so. Yeah.
Whale games. Whale games.
Whale games, yeah.
That's the thing. Like we've seen manipulation a little bit with like the OMI token, but at some point, like we'll really start seeing it with these collectibles. I know that people won't be excited about it, but like when you can corner the market, or when you have so much money, look, there's only 1,000 Spider-Man secret rares, 1,000 of them, right? Really like 910, because I think VeVe kept 90 of them, right? So 910. I know Dr. Profit has quite a few. I've got one. Like, I mean, I know a lot of other people, individuals just have one, right? And so people are listening and they're like, okay, 5, 6,000. All of a sudden, what if someone's like, I literally am willing to buy every single Spider-Man under 100K? I'm willing to buy it. And they just buy it, right? If you have like a venture capital firm this is the first and most rare Spider-Man on the blockchain, like long term, we're gonna buy it, right? And then all of a sudden they own 700 of them, right? Like they control the market at that point. And so like I really, it's like if VeVe plays out long term, like this will happen. Like these are assets, right? Digital collectibles, they are assets. And if this becomes big enough and really the market takes hold, like they will be treated like that. It can be crazy. So when we're sitting here thinking like, oh, there's 10,000 editions, or there's 20,000, or even the Marvel comic #1 was 60,000 editions, which I know sounds like that's a lot. That's the bear market mindset. But honestly, if like you guys have already been talking about, if we get more people in, and I say if, when we get more people in, like I truly believe that that's happening. And when we get more people in, as more people become familiar with just digital collectibles, and there's not this stain on NFTs, I think that the terminology is shifting where digital collectibles, right? People understand digital collectibles. There's not that taint of like hurting the environment type thing. There's gonna be a lot of people that come in. When I told people like, hey, my Spider-Man secret rare is worth like 90K, people are like, what app is that? What app is that? Like I'm downloading it like right now, right?
Yeah.
And so when the next bull market happens, the same thing is going to happen. Just like people wanted to know about Doge, who'd never heard of crypto before, right? VeVe becomes its own meme coin with its collectibles. And I don't think that people really understand like the power that really has. So, anyways, Bezos Man is going crazy, and but like at the same time, like there's all this gamification that's going to start happening with the MCP points. This is one thing I would love VeVe to do. I know that they're working on this loyalty point, but like you got McFarlane Toys already coming out and rewarding collectors, right? Like from the get-go, like if you had points and they did a snapshot and you got to mint a Superman, their first Superman drop, I'm surprised that VeVe hasn't done something already just to say, hey, until we get this points figured out or whatever, right? Like we can do snapshots and say, okay, this, like the people that are master collectors, 10% of them are going to go to this, or something along those lines. But once that happens, you are going to start seeing people fight to be a master collector and being like, I'm going to buy more sets. I'm going to throw more OMI in there so that I get the points, so that I get that allocation with a higher potential on top of spending MCP points, right? Just for being a master collector, I'm going to be in a different bracket that has certain collectibles allocated for the drop that I have a higher percentage of getting. So it's going to be crazy.
Yeah. It's all about flexing. In the end, it all comes down about flexing. The moment that something becomes a game is because and MCP will be like, if you play a game like World of Warcraft, you have PvP, you have PvE. There are different modes. Some people play it, some just don't care. But everyone wants to flex with their gear, or in that sense with the rare collectibles and stuffs and mint and I don't know, MCP points and ranks and achievements that they have. I think what Bezosman and the others, if you look at the top 500, they are almost all net positive. So collecting, accumulating between 1 and hundreds of collectibles per day. what they are creating, and I think what many people are not seeing, is that will be a bottleneck, because even if price shoots up, not everyone will see it. So it's really hard to, I will see it in the vault value, but it will be hard to identify when the first collectibles just moon which one it was from my 500 collectibles, right? I will have to scan through my stuff to see which one it was. So how long do you take to list that one while a lot of people are FOMOing in? So there will be people that are that have let's say a golden Homer, right? So for example, I have a person in my family that owns a golden Homer and a skateboard and I don't know what. That person hasn't logged in. If his golden Homer was at $10,000 right now, they wouldn't even know about it. So, and how many collectibles are there that takes family members to call them and say, hey, look, you should really look at your stuff and list that or something like that? Because and that's what really, there will be this moment of seller exhaustion where the price turns around and then it creeps up, and then people are like, okay, that comic was 150, now it's 2, now it's 3. And then at some point it goes parabolic, just like crypto in a broader market. And I think the fundament is laid out by whales like Bezosman right now, because we see them very carefully shaving up only the bottom all the time. If you look at the at the history of taking in collectibles, it's just 5 of that comic, then 5 of that, then 10 of that, and so on. So always careful that the price doesn't shoot through the roof. So I think he's not done accumulating because just of the behavior. Yeah.
So Patient Hodler, are you a master collector?
No, actually not.
Me neither. So I was a master collector when I got I staked my 10 million Omi.
Yeah.
And I was master collector for about a week. And I've now dropped off. I'm Diamond 1, which I think is 1 rank away from master collector. But you know what?
I'm also Diamond 1. I'm at 600 points per day without Ecomi.
Yeah. So I'm at almost 800, and it is making me feel like I want to buy more collectibles now, though, to get back to master collector. So it's a bit of
you got that
there.
taste, right? And you love being able to say you were a master collector, and now all of a sudden you're like,
not a master anymore.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
So what level are you, though, Jordan? What level are you?
34, 5 or something. Let's see. But what I think I might do is I might actually when we get Omi to NFT, that's when I can become a master collector again. And
so
I think
you're
I was thinking about this, right? If they adjust the amount of Omi you need to be the top level tier in next season, and they've adjusted, say, 1 million Omi, so then everybody that has the extra 9 million Omi that was staked 10 million, they're more than likely going to spend that on VeVe collectibles. There's going to be a small percentage who'll take it out to sell it, but I think majority of people will want to they're in VeVe, right? They're master collectors. They're probably just going to spend it on collectibles. So that's actually a really cool idea, I think. And
just getting them to get it over here, because then once it's over here, like you said, if it's not doing anything for them, it's just like gems. It starts burning a hole in your pocket. So either there's going to be people who are like, okay, I'm sending that back to layer 1 so that I can have that on exchange, or would not recommend holding it on exchange, but in your just non-custodial wallet to potentially sell or trade. But if it's sitting there and then Omi to NFT hits, it's going to be real tough for people not to spend that Omi to buy some of the NFTs, especially ones that they're like, I've been waiting for this one to hit this price point or something like that, and now I can buy it. And there are people out there, there are whales that I've specifically talked to. I'm talking multimillionaires, okay, like who are saying, once crypto to gem happens, or I can get my crypto in there somehow, I'm going to go hog wild. I'm going to go hog wild on this stuff. But they're like, it's too expensive in like Europe and some of these places, like the credit card fees and all that stuff. Like it's too much. And they're like, just wait till crypto. I can use my crypto to get in there. So Omi to NFT will be massive, guys. It will be massive.
Ooh, Bill Garner's moving up the ranks.
I'm still in the top 500. I got to see. Hold on.
Just buy 100.
I think I'm not close to that with 500 total NFTs there.
Is it
that is funny?
Is it Rootless Girl? Is it Rootless Girl who does it? Who's the one? Who has that tracker? No, it's not Rootless Girl. It's Where's the top 500 wallet? Who has that?
Let me see if I can still find that.
So it's interesting, Patient Hodler, that I've got higher points per day now just because of my staked Omi.
Yeah,
But I've got about
but
225 collectibles and comics combined.
yeah, still you will have to see. I mean, from this point, it doesn't matter. But if you have had a lot of collectibles for a long time, it takes still a lot of days to catch up. So, for example, I'm sitting on 350,000 MCP points, and if you are getting 800 per day, you still have a lot to catch up, right? If you had
Yeah.
less before. So
Check
if you're
this
not
out.
even
Do you see what SoCal says? David once said the only way to buy gems in the future would be to top off for a drop. Everything else would be Omi related. That would be amazing. I don't think I've heard him say that before. That would be unreal for Omi.
He did say that like a while ago, where they're going to kind of try to reduce like the gem supply and make that, but like maybe that's still a thing. I don't know.
Sleepin's
But
top
that's
100.
Yo, that's impressive. I didn't know
Top
that Sleeping is
100.
so
I did
high.
not know that.
Damn.
Hold on, guys. Let's see here. Ah,
It's
How
hard to
many
keep
do
up with the
you have?
whales.
I'm in the top 500, but I am not. I'm in.
Are you a master?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm a master collector. I've been since it came out. I've been a master collector, but I get 2,243 points a day.
I can stretch it out. Okay, let's see. So we got some more comments here. What's Noldo?
Noldo. I don't know what that is.
SoCal says, what if we get no exchanges? It's all self-contained, obviating the need.
I still think it'll be on exchanges. There's going to be people like it'll still be a token, and people will still want to buy and sell it.
Yeah.
And you can still get exchanges that will quote unquote rogue list, right? Where they're just like, we're going to list it because we like the volume. And there's 300 billion tokens out there. There's still a lot out there. And so there will definitely be people who are playing the game of like buying and selling, and then there will be people who will just want it to use it in the app, and that's where I think, like I've talked about before, and like Jordan brought up again, is like the credit card being able to, guys, we are such emotional beings, and having that ability on a credit card to just buy the Omi and get something now and get it on a deal. It's like game over, because then it doesn't matter what the price of Omi is. If it's tied to just like $1 worth of Omi for those bronze tickets, Omi could be $10. Omi could be $10, and it doesn't matter. They're gonna still buy 1/10 of an Omi to get that dollar's worth to buy the bronze ticket, and then 1/10 of an Omi is burned, right? Like, and they're gonna do it. They're gonna buy 50 bronze tickets or something if it's something that they really want, because it's easy, and that's what I'm really excited for. Is VeVe makes crypto easy to a certain extent, right? People can buy these NFTs. They don't have to learn how to have a non-custodial wallet connected to OpenSea to be able to purchase a Bored Ape or something like that. That takes a special person to be able to want to do that. But your average Joe is not going to do that. But with VeVe, the average Joe can go on there and buy an Elsa for their 10-year-old daughter, and take a picture with it like that. And if they can do it with Omi because they get a discount or there's some incentive to do that, you're going to do that. And it's just like, oh man, I just get so bullish as I talk about that. And I try not to be moon bullish. I like there are things that could happen, right? Still, like, and I want to put that into perspective, but like, they've got a really, really strong bull case. And that's all I'm saying. When I look at a lot of other projects out there, when I compare them, man, does this have just a lot of catalysts that are still yet to be played out. And Omi has still been a top 200 token by market cap for years now without all of these catalysts. So combine the catalysts with all of the true like Bitcoin narrative catalysts that are coming, and woof, could be spicy. 3 chili spicy. That one's for Alex.
So something SoCal just said here is very interesting, and I've said this before when we found out about the staking, that we only need 30,000 people to stake 10 million Omi, and that's all the Omi that is in circulation. and that's
So
not
it
even
can never
possible.
happen. Yeah.
It's not even possible, right? Because the dev fund has like 30 billion OMI, and David and Dan's has like another 60 billion. That's like 90 billion that can't be bought until they sell, right? So, and there's a bunch of other big whales. So really, there's probably only maybe 50 billion that can even be bought, and I think that's what SoCal's getting at here. There's currently only there's 50 billion in wallets holding less than 10 million tokens. So there's not that much OMI to go around. If we get an influx of 100,000 users, it's game over. It's game over for OMI, and it's game over for anyone else, any other NFT projects, right? VeVe is going to be the go-to. I mean, it really already is. If anything branded, VeVe is the go-to, and it's the goat. It's the one that's still going. It's one of the few that are not rug pulling, Rico, and not backtracking everything they said. You know, I think Dr. Stuff, you're right. I think they will get interoperability. They actually said that the Ecomi blockchain team is doing two things. Number one, it's getting OMI integrated in the app, and the second thing is getting the NFTs interoperability. That word is hard to say. So that's the two things the Ecomi blockchain is doing. So that's going to make everyone super happy when that happens. And obviously, some people are going to get scammed. They're going to lose their VeVe NFTs, and they're going to be burnt for life, I guess, or illegally traded on OpenSea or something. Who knows?
We don't even know, and that will be so interesting too, right? How many of these things are locked up? How many of the collectibles? How many of the Spider-Mans? How many of the golden moments are locked up in bot accounts that like are done, that are like locked out, or that people have forgotten, like not necessarily forgotten your password because you can do that, but just like have checked out for a long time, man. Like it'll be interesting to see like what's actually out there and available for sale or to be able to get. But speaking of that, I want to, because someone, I think it was Mr. V, just put out a video about the animation desk, which was really cool. Like this guy kind of did a video on one of the Disney animation desks that he had bought. Now it wasn't one of the originals, but so are you guys going for the animation desk?
No, not for
Yes,
me.
I'm buying the pencils. So, because why would you make such a big fuss just about the random desk collectible? There must be something else to it, and I want to know what it is.
Well, do you think, okay, but let's look at the Thanos drop. Well, I did the Thanos. I freaking spent the money and got that stupid I have Agamotto SR so that I could get the SR Thanos right, and like definitely below what I paid for it. But I still I wanted it because I wanted it minted to me. And so
Mhm.
for me, the price wasn't the thing. It was like I wanted it minted. I didn't want to buy it off the market. So
The experience, the experience.
it
Yeah,
was
but
part of the experience, right? Of experiencing the first crafting that VeVe did. Like I
yeah,
wanted to do that, right? So I
you still
have
hold the collectibles out of it?
uh-huh.
Yeah, so you shouldn't talk so negative about, because these stones in a bull run will perform differently than your collectibles, right? I
Mhm.
mean, your gauntlet is, how many are there? Below 3,000? Then you have a Thanos thinker below 3,000, and then you have a potentially a warrior.
I do have the warrior, yeah.
So you have three collectibles that mean something instead of stones, right? So
Mhm.
yes, you have spent I don't know how much you spent on these eye and stuff, but even if you spent $1,000 on the whole stone lineup, how much will the three significant collectibles be in the bull market? And I think that's versus the performance of the stones. Yes, of course, you could have taken profit on the stones and not mint the collectibles, but I think it's worth to consider the long-term effect of the decision.
Yeah.
So
And
guys,
it'll
if
be
we
sorry,
okay,
just real quick with the desk. Like I'm definitely going for it, and I'm getting multiples this time because I only did one Thanos one, but with the desk I'm gonna do multiples, and I think that a lot of people are. So I think there'll be quite a few desks. But here's my thing. If you look at, be interesting to track the latest drop right of the Tinkerbell and how many have sold out there, because everyone so far is thinking that it's the Wreck-It Ralph pencils that are kind of the bottleneck, right? Because a lot of people thought it was like one pencil per character that you got, but it was really just one per wallet. or one per account, right? And so if the Tinkerbells don't mint out, then there could potentially be less Tinkerbell pencils than Wreck-It Ralph.
But it could be also one of the others if one whale minted a lot of collectibles, right?
No. Like, what do you mean?
Then because then there would be a lot of collectibles going into one wallet, and therefore only one pencil, though a lot of collectibles absorbed, and that would make the pencils less available. So it could be Tinkerbell or Wreck-It Ralph, depending on how many collectibles were minted out of the store. The other ones sold
That's
out,
true.
so
That's true.
they cannot be the most scarce ones. But yeah.
That's a good point with Tinkerbell. Yeah, that's a good point.
Cool. Just going to JKRB, saying if we can all just onboard one person before the year ends, if our 27,000 active users onboard another 27,000 active users, that would be pretty unreal in the bear market. Let's go, VeVe Army.
Have you heard of Cardano Zach? Have you seen this guy recently on Twitter? So he's a big Cardano guy, and he was doing research on like NFT community or crypto communities, basically. And he was like, Cardano's got this incredible community. He's like, but crazy enough, there's this community, like this VeVe community that just is like blowing past like all of these metrics that he's following, right? And so like he's like started following me and Randy and like all these other people, and like he started buying VeVe stuff, right? And now he's tweeting about VeVe, and he's just like, it's funny to watch real time, like on Twitter or on X, someone find VeVe and then just like fall in love and be like, oh, now what collectible should I get here? This is crazy. Oh, this is so addicting, right? And just seeing someone find this community, be welcomed, everyone was just like, hey, this is awesome, like answering questions he has. But like, it's funny just to see him be this massive proponent. And I think, look, I tell everyone I know about VeVe. I freaking wear this around and people are like, what the heck is VeVe? I'm like, guys, it's the craziest. It's the most amazing thing ever, I
told like a random dad in like a library where you're supposed to be quiet. All our kids are playing. I'm like, he's like, I'm into Marvel. So I was like, oh, check out this app. And I was like showing him, I was showing Captain America, like, the shield smashing. I've got the secret rare smashing the ground and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty funny.
I sometimes use the VeVe app for hours in the train or so, and then people from the side sitting next to me or so, they're looking. Sometimes they're asking what this is, so I tell them.
Yeah. Awesome. It's a good way to start a conversation, actually, because I haven't really seen anyone else doing anything AR on their mobile before. I've never seen it, so.
No, I didn't use AR functionality. I was just scanning the market and then opening like comic covers, for example, and people obviously recognize
the pages are like turning and stuff. Yeah, like the pages are turning because the animation is cool.
Only if you go into a collectible and you see like you have the comic cover like big or in the drop screen, and then people sometimes ask what this is.
Cool. That's awesome.
But the problem is that people are so, and this is something that I realized so many times, people are so far away from investing. Yes, if they are collectors, they are still interested, but then if they are far away from investing, and then far away from stocks, and far away from crypto in general, and then from the concept of NFTs, you realize how much educational work needs to be done still to get you will never get all people into the space, as you can never get everyone into just buying some stocks for themselves and learn about the markets. But some people are interested. Some people, crypto, that's Bitcoin, right? Isn't that the stuff that is used to pay drugs, weapons, and criminal stuff? As I'm like, no, that's
called
euro.
US dollar. That's cash.
Right? Yeah, that's fiat,
that's
actually.
The counterfeiting currency? No, that's not us.
Dr. Stuff, as well, to your point about that guy that came from the Cardano community, right? Like, I think that's where we should get a lot of users, is from other cryptocurrency people that are already in the space of cryptocurrencies, because going from crypto to VeVe and to NFTs and digital collectibles is not that big a jump. So basically what you're saying is, well, patient hold, I fully agree that a lot of people do need some more educating, and it's going to take some time. But I think, crypto is so big now that everyone has at least heard of Bitcoin. It's very rare you're going to find someone who hasn't at least heard of Bitcoin. Whether or not they think it's a scam or they think that it's to do with drug money or what is not a big deal. But at least the foot's in the door for crypto. And as more and more people understand different cryptocurrencies, excuse me, they will come into understanding digital collectibles over time. And we haven't seen VV be pushed by Disney basically at all. Can you imagine if you're on Disney Plus and it says like, get this digital collectible from this show, right? It's got like Frozen, and it's got the digital collectible there. It's a little QR code to scan, right? That would just be unreal. Imagine how many users you'd onboard. So many Disney
Imagine when the
addicts.
Super Bowl advertisement comes.
Yeah, Super
They
Bowl
can just
QR
pay-
code, right?
they could pay
Someone
a
did that, didn't
spot.
they? Someone did a QR code on the Super Bowl for NFTs or something. I think that actually was done
Yeah,
already.
I think it happened for, I don't know if it was Coinbase or some other exchange that made a
Binance,
Super Bowl app
maybe?
with a
Yeah.
QR code that was
Oh,
just
FTX.
bouncing
Maybe it was
around.
FTX. They just blew their money
No,
like
it wasn't
water.
FTX. It was a different one, and I tried to get it, and actually those pumped real quickly because of that. But yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Wasn't it
That's
Crow?
crazy.
Wasn't it Crow or
I
something
don't
like
remember.
that?
Hold on,
Yeah.
let's find it.
Crypto.com or so? I
Yeah,
think it was something
it
exchange
was something
related.
crypto or NFT based.
Yeah.
I can't remember. But they had a QR code. So like that's a start. But how easy would it be for Disney just to put that in on the end of each one of their movies or at the start or whatever? Just a little QR code saying, hey, if you like, what we'll say if you like Woody, you like Woody, or you like Buzz Lightyear, or you like Lion King or Frozen or any of these. They've got so many now. I mean, someone sent me a list of like the top 25 highest grossing of all time movies, and out of those 25, VeVe has like 15 or 16 of them, maybe 17 of the top
I
25.
think that would have an effect, but I think the biggest effect that you can have is really influencers talking about VV collectibles, how many X they did with it, and stuff like that. Like you only need a couple of people with millions of followers on TikTok or on YouTube or whatever, showing that. They don't even have to be directly from the NFT space. They just need to be some people that bought some collectibles and then talk about how crazy the prices are.
So
Then
like the
you
Bored
are
Apes
all
style,
over
Bored
the,
Apes, but with VV.
yeah, or you're on. You just need a couple of Cointelegraph headlines, stuff like that, where it's like, oh, that Disney NFT sold for $50,000, or collector gets rich by one comic collectible, or stuff like that, right? So the guy that minted an MC1 secret rare on drop, and that's it, right?
There we go. So I don't know how you say that, Diguga.
I got you.
Coinbase.
But so
Exactly.
Limit Break is the one that I'm thinking of, where basically there's a QR code, and if you got that early enough, right, you downloaded it and you got this NFT. It was like a pretty rare NFT,
Okay.
and they spent a lot of money on it. But you know what? I looked at it like the last time that they tweeted was in June. You know, and that's the thing is people can spend a lot of money and they can bring a lot of hype. And I think that people think that that is good, but it's really not, because what happens is people see the pump and then the dump, right? And they're just like, so they lose a lot of money if the people jump in. Most people lose a lot of money, then they're out, right? They're just like, screw crypto, it's just scam artists and things. But something like VeVe, where this is building up, and there has been pumps in VeVe, right? But it's still here, it's still going, and I think they're just built for the long term, and we really need that stabilizing force in crypto for mass adoption. We can't continue to have this, and that's where regulation is coming, whether we like it or not. And it's funny because I've gotten in some disputes or arguments with people about, like, well, OpenSea doesn't require KYC and Blur doesn't require KYC, and I'm like, yet. I'm like, crypto is still like the wild, wild west. And if you look in the Americas back in the day, right, there was a lot of laws that were loosely followed or not followed at all in the West. And that's why it was called the wild, wild west. But as civilization moved, right, and those laws were started to be enforced, then you couldn't just like shoot people in the back and get away with it, right? And that's what's regulation is coming to stabilize that, and so we won't see as much volatility, which is a pro and a con. The volatility is great if you can get in at early prices, right, and then ride that crazy volatility up and make some really good money. But like leverage trading and things right now, like that's not really enforced with crypto. Like regulations are coming that are going to require that. You're going to have KYC on these trading platforms, even if they're trading amongst individuals and stuff like that. And that's where I do think that we will get trading again on VeVe, but there's got to be that regulation in place specifically for NFTs and what that means, right? And they've got to be able to set parameters for suspicious activity type transactions and things. But once that gets there, guys, like I'm just so bullish. It's crazy. I've just been thinking so much about VeVe as I've been offline for 3 days and haven't been able to use anything. Just all my thoughts, but I'm bullish.
Yeah. I mean, also, you said it before, a lot of people are looking, I think you said it in another context, but a lot of people are looking for exposure to crypto without having the transactions and the wallet addresses and the risk of losing tokens, sending it to the wrong address and all that shebang. But so this is where the Bitcoin spot ETF and potentially other spot crypto ETFs that are including wallets or including coins in the top 100, 200, 300 are also inevitable. But first, it starts all with the Bitcoin ETF. And if you look at, I've just seen some material on how the SEC tries to push that back and defend it, and they're really out of good arguments because of them allowing the Bitcoin futures ETF first, which is apparently 99% correlated to this to what the Bitcoin spot ETF or what the Bitcoin spot price is doing, and then they even allowed a leveraged Bitcoin futures ETF. So they allowed it a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago. They allowed leveraged spot Bitcoin, leveraged Bitcoin futures ETF.
How much leverage though?
I think 2x or something like that. But but still, I mean, their baseline, their argument is that the users of spot Bitcoin ETFs need to be protected because the market is manipulated and there's too much volatility. But then they allow people to speculate on the future price of Bitcoin instead of the current price of Bitcoin and just purchasing without exposure. They allow it on the future price with 2x leverage. It's like, what is your argument in saying, hey, look, we're the SEC, we want to protect people, and that's why we cannot allow a spot Bitcoin ETF. So and then all these big companies with all their lawyers that they're going to the SEC and say, look, you approved futures ETFs normal and with leverage, so just put the same regulation that you put on these on top of spot Bitcoin ETF and allow it all together, right?
Isn't that isn't that what a judge said recently in the Uniswap court case? They basically said that.
Yeah, exactly. No. But at the Uniswap case, it was that Uniswap is too decentralized that there would be a defendant that you can approach. So you cannot really. There's no target in the Uniswap case. So
I think they also talked about the Bitcoin spot ETF as well there. I think that's.
Oh yeah, that I don't know if they mentioned that, but for me, there's just no option left for the SEC rather than finding wordings and push it back until beginning of 2024. The only thing that they could do is like commit credibility suicide and pull back the Bitcoin future ETFs after having them running for I don't know how long. But
they won't do that.
They will never do that.
Patient Hodler, what do you think's the big IP coming to VeVe this month? David,
big IP coming. What do I think it is, or what I hope it is?
Yeah, both.
I'm not going to say Pokemon, but I hope it's One Piece.
One Piece?
One Piece. I hope.
Or Dragon Ball Super.
I'm like, for me, One Piece is the absolute non plus ultra for me personally, because a lot of emotions attached to this, in the sense of just watching it as a kid.
You love One Piece.
I like.
Cool.
What do you mean?
You love One Piece. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I love it.
Did you get a poster?
Yeah, the Zorro
I'll send.
poster is
I can
amazing.
send you one. I'll
I
send you
want
one.
one of these.
If I can get one of these to you, who do you want? You want Luffy? Who's your favorite character?
No, I want. I like Zorro as well. So
All right, I'll get you a Zoro.
yeah,
You have to put
nice.
it on the wall though. If I send you one, will you put it on the wall? We can be like
Sure.
matching
Yeah.
buddies.
I have to. I want to create a background or so that I can have like. I mean, maybe one day I will get a VeVe lamp as some of the YouTubers did.
One day.
But
None of us
who
have
One
it
knows?
day.
here, I think. So
I think there needs to be more time passing after all the videos that I did.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Yeah, there was some.
you
There
never
was some
know.
fudding. There was some fudding. No,
That was not fudding.
no,
Yeah.
I agree. See, and that's the thing that I would kind of correct people on when people be like, "Oh, it's just FUD," and I was like, "No, there's a difference between constructive and concerned criticism. Like,
Mhm.
hey, here's I'm not seeing what I'm liking, and here's why, right? As opposed to like VV is dead, like
Yeah.
that's just FUD, right? I mean, and it's ridiculous and that it's not supported. Whereas like, hey, we were promised interoperability, it's still not here yet. We were promised the VeVeVerse at the end of 2022, it isn't here yet. What's going on, right? Those are
Yeah.
legitimate questions, and I think
Yeah.
that's great. And the community does need to press on that. They should always continue to press on stuff like that, right? Um, but I do think that some of yours were a little pretty heavy on that fierceness
Yeah.
there.
But I'm okay with that. And also, if that is returning, hey, look, you didn't believe all the time in Omi and so on. Yes, I didn't. I pointed out what I saw from the behavior. Also, I pointed straight. I mean, we have to see that what I pointed out is announcements like interoperability is coming this year, and I said this is wrong, and also not addressing this is wrong. And I think that's okay. We can agree to disagree on the methods that I used, and it's all fine. Everyone has their own style, I think. But also with regards to price action and maybe say, hey, let's wait for a turnaround. Everyone has their own strategy. People were buying from 1 cent down to 000, right? And some other people were waiting and are missing out the turnaround, right? That's okay, right? Yeah.
Good for X. Good for X though.
We want better exchanges, but
Yeah.
overall, I think. I mean, I'm really happy that Doctor, you, and also Foster at one time, and Jordan, that we were here in the bear market to put these views against each other, because you guys brought up an immense amount of positivity despite that situation, and I got to put the devil's advocate against it, and I will still
It's
continue to
fun.
do that
It's
because
fun.
Yeah.
obviously moving Omi into the app for me this is not where I say I will completely throw every concern overboard. It's just that I'm bullish and it looks good and I want to see more, right? But yeah, baseline is I stand 100% by every video, and none of this is going off the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that just means no VV light for you, but Jordan and I will get one. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's
Hopefully.
cool. Maybe you can order two, but I will go with.
I'll try to order
the,
two and I'll sneak you one. That's
Actually, this is unfair. Actually, this is unfair because I was always positive on VeVe, also on these
That's
streams,
true.
on the
That's true.
collectibles. So I deserve the lamp. I just don't deserve a red Omi light,
Oh,
maybe.
no.
But what's interesting, guys, I was thinking a lot about this, is like there's going to be like Omi, right? Omi layer 2 that's in VeVe that'll probably, a lot of it will never move into layer 1. Right, there's going to be like people in VeVe and master collectors, people with Omi that's in layer 2, people that bought Omi from the web app, and there's going to be like a separate section of people that are like trading the Omi token on exchanges and in their own wallets that'll never go into VeVe, right? There's almost like two different groups that's going to both help contribute to the price, the scarcity, and everything to do with Omi token. And that's one of the reasons I think this could be, a win-win-win for everybody. And then they'll take some of that Omi and they'll put it in the VeVe and they'll buy, some NFTs, so it's digital collectibles. So it's gonna be a really awesome system when everything's up and running. And obviously we're still early days, and yes, we're supposed to have everything by now, right? We're supposed to have VeVeVerse a few years ago. We're supposed to have interoperability. We're supposed to have was it 5 to 10 exchanges by the end of the year? 2 years ago.
by the
So
end of last year.
yeah, I think it was actually 2021 even. It was so about 2 years ago.
Yeah, or something like that. But do you guys know how many exchanges are there right now? Because in the bear market, in the
4?
collapse,
4?
what do you mean? No, not
4?
for OMI. In
Oh,
general,
total.
like exchanges in the world, it's like 669 according to coin market cap.
How many were there during the
so
bull run? Do you know?
last bull run?
Yeah, do you know if there's a lot more? Did we lose like a couple
Yes,
hundred?
it's way more. It's way more because the number I remember that I checked on these numbers when FTX went down and all these exchanges went completely bankrupt. If the number is significantly dropping, but it was somewhere around 500 and even below 500 then. So there's 169 more exchanges. Obviously, many are the BitUbus of this world. But what I wanted to say is that even if you take the bigger ones, every exchange in order to provide OMI to people needs to have an exchange wallet that is filled with OMI. Otherwise, you cannot balance out liquidity and market manipulation and stuff like that. And the smaller ones, they need OMI to have bots trading it back and forth to generate volume to attract that specific community. So that comes on top of the calculations that everyone makes. If they haven't bought in the bear market right now, they will have to buy when the volume is significantly higher. Even if they want to rogue list, they have to buy then and fill up a wallet. And I don't know how much you need as an exchange to supply a buying
I can give you an
frenzy on
example.
OMI.
Bitforex and I think OKX have about a couple hundred OMI each, a couple 100 million.
Couple
So
hundred, yeah.
for the small exchanges, they need a couple 100 million. So some of the big exchanges want 1 billion OMI. So
yeah.
that's going to
So
be
how
all
much
the
does
OMI.
Binance need to supply
Couple billion OMI.
Yeah, so either they have to buy it on the market, which is not going to happen, or they have to buy it OTC. And
Maybe the dev fund. Maybe they can sell dev fund to.
yeah, I think
exchanges?
it would be even good for VeVe to sell these tokens OTC to Binance and make a lot of money out of that and use that to whatever, right? To build out the next level.
Patient Hodler, you're
on the
making me
other hand-
bullish. You shouldn't be doing this.
What do
You're
you
making me bullish on OMI. I'm becoming very bullish on OMI now.
Yeah, but it would be a little bit more of a dilution first, right? So
Yeah.
obviously it would be better if Binance would get their OMI somewhere else. So from someone who would dump it anyways, maybe they can. Also, this would mean probably that they get the cheaper offer from someone who has. There are a couple of people that have still billions of OMI that probably wouldn't be too sad about an OTC deal with an exchange or so. But I could imagine that, and I think Binance needs more than 1 billion OMI to be supplying a bull run.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Even if we got like 100 small exchanges that all take 100 million OMI each, what's that? Is
Yeah.
that 10 billion OMI? Or was that 100 billion OMI?
Yeah, something like that.
A lot of OMI. So
people saying I turn into an OMI bull, and I'm not.
Yes. Patient Hollis.
Hey,
the bulls. The
if I
horns
wasn't bullish on OMI, I would have sold my OMI, but I.
Well, you bought more OMI, right? You have at least 2 or 3 million OMI. Do you not disclose that?
I have 3.1 something.
Ooh, you're doing a Randy now. You're getting little bits of OMI as well. Just go get DCA, 100K OMI every week.
Actually, you have to see that I have been, since the beginning of when I bought my OMI, I've been not buying since I think 005, and then all the way down, I was just looking. And when this turnaround thing came, which I believe it is, could be wrong, I basically increased my stack by, what is that? Yeah, by 30%. No, actually, it would be by 50%, right? I had 2 million, and then it's 3 million.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I was patiently not buying.
Are you gonna make it to 10 million?
What do you mean?
Are you gonna make it to 10 million? Are you gonna stake it all?
We will see, because I think I want to still maintain a balance in my portfolio, and we all see I have my portfolio tracked on, I think on CoinMarketCap. So when OMI made a move, the percentages already shifted around in this portfolio. So I always try to maintain a balance in the portfolio, and also I have some other projects that I like. So sometimes I will buy Omi and sometimes other stuff. Yeah.
Jojo saying Bit4X has 23 billion Omi. Yeah,
Wow.
one of them had a lot. But I think
Yeah.
Ascendex had like a couple 100 million Omi, and
There's
no,
there's a there's a
these numbers are
Dex.
way higher.
I don't know which Dex it is, but there's a Dex out there that has Omi because that's how I'm buying it.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of.
Uniswap.
Yeah, and maybe it's Uniswap. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is Uniswap.
It is
Because-
Uniswap. That was in the bull run, I think, when they listed it.
Yeah, and they still have it, right? It's still a trading pair, and it's trading pretty similar to what we're seeing on Bid4X, like the spot price there. So, I don't know how much, like, what the liquidity pool is there, but like that's very useful.
I don't know where Jojo getting the
said
stats from. but
Binance would need
cool.
Someone said Binance would need 40 to 60 billion Omi. Just if Bit4X has 23 billion.
That's more than their debt fund. They need to buy it then. Woohoo! Pump Omi, Binance. Do it.
Yeah.
And,
So that's actually crazy. I mean, if you think about it, but yeah, when the price goes up, you need less Omi to supply retail.
I've got to go in about 5 minutes, guys. So if we can wrap it up.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, me too. It's 1:26.
Oh man, thanks so much for coming on. Yeah, it's
crazy.
late. Everybody, subscribe to Patient Hodler and check out his coffee morning streams. They're really fun.
Subscribe to this one here. It's way more important. Also smash the likes. We didn't ask for a like the whole stream, so now's the time.
Yes. Ecomi, if you're watching, can you give us all VeVe lights? That'd be cool. Dr. Stuff, everyone make sure you subscribe to his channel as well, because he's going to be putting out some content at some point as well.
I have been, like, obviously I've been doing a lot here, like on around the EcomiVerse, but yes, I am. I've gotten approval from the boss where I'm going to be able to. Thursday nights, I'm going to start doing a live stream, and we'll see how long it goes. Maybe it's just half an hour or an hour, right? But I've got a special guest coming. I'm really excited. A big guest coming on. Not let's see, it's September 14th, the day of. And I'll post a tweet about it here, but it's the same day as the Batman #1 drop with DC Comics. They still haven't announced the Batcow holders, if it's going to be one per cow or how that's all going to work, right? But I am going to be Thursday night starting to do live streams. So yes, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't here. And obviously, around the EcomiVerse, Jordan does a great job of getting a great cast of characters out here and just topics. It's a lot to put this channel together, and people look forward to it. And a lot of people, Jordan, have said that around the EcomiVerse is their favorite thing to tune into. So great job there. But I'm just going to say this one thing. Look, first and foremost, none of this is financial advice, what we've been talking about, right? Everyone put on your big girl pants or your big boy pants and take accountability and say, hey, where am I at? What can I invest in? What can I not invest in or afford to lose? Because you can lose everything. Okay. Crypto is very volatile. I've had projects that are completely rug pulled that had a phenomenal use case, right? Gone. And it sucks, right? And that can happen here. So just put that there. That being said, when you look at the team, you look at what they're building and that they're growing in this bear market, that is better than 99% of the crypto projects to date that are losing money, that are letting people go, right? You combine that with this IP that they still have contracts with, that they're still working with, they're still dropping FA of a lot of different things here, right? And we still don't have the verticals. That's my guess, by the way, Jordan, for this month that they're releasing is a music vertical. That's my guess. We'll see.
Wow.
But because David, you talked about that they were going to do verticals. 2 new verticals were supposed to happen this year. So now, David, you in the background had those records on one of those interviews, right?
Yeah,
so that's why and he could be trolling, but
regardless, trolling.
I'm super happy you guys are here. Thanks for listening. And again, subscribe to our channels and to our Twitter if you haven't already. Thanks, fam.
Woo! Patient Hodler, any final words?
Actually, no, that's it. Today, no final words. I think I was bullish enough already.
You're very bullish. Awesome. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you stay subscribed and come back for next week. Bye, guys. Bye.
See ya.
Woo.